Well, good morning, West Ham fans. It's Monday already. Where has the weekend gone? But hopefully you had a decent weekend, a West Ham free weekend. And obviously this weekend coming is a free West Ham weekend as well, which is fantastic as we play on April Fool's Day. Don't forget it's Mother's Day as well. So I'm just turning on my webcam. It's Mother's Day as well. And the clocks go back on Sunday as well. So it's massive, massive weekend. Last night I was watching the Ireland versus Bulgaria game, and our current loan signing, Evan Ferguson, scored an absolute banger of a goal. And I was thinking yesterday, what should I talk about today? And I was going to do something around Evan Ferguson, like call it, I might still call it Evan Ferguson. What's the point? Um, but football's a funny old game, as Jimmy Greaves always used to say, and it only takes a spark to start a fire. What's that song by Stereophonics? It only takes a match to burn 1,000 trees. And I don't know what it is, but I've just got a feeling. Now, up until now, there was reports on Sunday or Saturday and Sunday how that Brighton were really unhappy with the loan spell, how it's going because he's not getting any minutes. I think West Ham have countered that by saying, well, he's come here and he's not fit. And there was an article about the owners, West Ham owners, are concerned with how we're utilising Ferguson. And anyway, I was talking to weekend before last, one of Len's Mandeville promotions events, and I was talking to Bobby Moore, like you do. And we would talk, and I asked him about Evan because obviously he's part of the coaching staff at Brighton. He does sort of part-time striker training, and he said, "Russ, I'm telling you, Ferguson is the best striker that Brighton have got. Technically brilliant, left, right, hold up, headers. He is a brilliant striker." But the reason why Brighton don't want him, it's not Brighton, it's Fabian Husler. He wants a side which is really mobile, from literally the goalkeeper to the striker, or to the forwards, which explains why someone like João Pedro and Welbeck maybe get ahead of him, because they are not strikers as such, they're forwards, and they literally are always on the go. Ferguson, and I've said it before, Ferguson reminds me of a young John Hartson. However, I don't think John Hartson would have scored that goal I saw yesterday. I saw something different in that goal. For anyone who doesn't know, go and watch it on YouTube, but or Twitter or whatever X they call it. He picks it up from just inside the Bulgaria half, runs it forward, good 20, 30 yards, and then plays a 1-2 with a guy off the... he played it into him, and he was just outside the box. He was on the D, he's number 10, and he then passed it back to Evan, who basically did a pass, give and go inside the box, drilled it into the top corner, or into the side of the. It's a really good goal. And maybe, and obviously he got 25 minutes, I think, or so, 20, 25 minutes for the first leg. Maybe we will see a different Evan Ferguson coming back. He played a decent number of minutes yesterday, and maybe that's what we need. For me, again, what Bobby said was really interesting. He, after that injury, he just never got fit because he wasn't playing enough. And up until probably about 9:00 last night, I was thinking, what's the point? But then I saw that goal, and I saw a little spark. Now, sparks can be easily extinguished. Obviously, we still got this current second round of games. Obviously, Greece thumped Scotland as well yesterday. Obviously, we got the Latvia game on Monday, Tuesday, something like that. And then everyone's back, and then obviously getting ready for the Wolves game. Could that be the game we actually see Evan Ferguson start? Could it? Could it possibly? And could we see the reasoning? And for me, I think if we do see something out of Ferguson between now and the end of the loan spell at the end of the season, it would justify us having more faith in Potter's and Carl McCauley's sort of transfer policy going into the summer. I think the trouble is everyone at for the detractors, for the Potter anti-Potterists out there, they turn to the signing of Ferguson and saying, "Well, how can we trust him if he's given us that?" And it can easily be hid out. I mean, and to be honest, there is justification to say, "Yeah, you're probably right," because there's nothing he's done which I think has warranted us. I mean, really, we were flashing our knickers at him all during the January transfer window, or as soon as Potter came in, really. And yet that was really the only signing we got in. Personally, I think, thinking about it, I was watching one of Gary's shows yesterday, a live show, where he claimed he didn't watch my videos, but I know you do, Gary, because I've got the proof. I've got the proof. He didn't claim it. He said, "Yeah, I only watch Geo's." I know you watch mine, Gary, because I've seen you, and you've texted me. And there were some interesting points there along the lines of what we were saying last week in terms of my musings. He's coming to a side where I think he wanted to assess rather than bringing his own people. I mean, to be honest, there was no real. It was a minute danger of us being relegated this season. He's come in. He's then had opportunities this sort of 6-month period before he can really buy anyone, to sort of assess who's in, who's out of the squad before we start buying people in. I mean, to be honest, Ferguson was a dry loan. We really only paid for contribution to his wages and signing on a wage, a loan fee, not massive money. And I genuinely think he wanted to have a look at him, but I think he turned up and he was more unfit than he thought he was. But as I said yesterday, that goal, I think I've seen a spark. And I've seen a player there that if we can harness that over the next 10 games or so, should get a few goals. We know Brighton want rid of him in the summer. About 40 million quid, apparently. Considering he was a £100 million player sort of beginning of last season, it's somewhat of a downfall. But I think I still think there's a player there, and I think if you utilise him, his talent's great. He's still a young lad as well, and very similar to John Hartson. I think injuries will blight his career. Unfortunately, I think when he's fit, he'll be unplayable. But the asterisk alongside of it, when he's fit, and a bit like Johnny. I mean, when he was fit, he got 26 goals one season for us, and then the next season half he was in and out, and then obviously went to Wimbledon for a record signing. Obviously signing for a record signing. Then he went to Wimbledon for a record signing for them. But I just think maybe I'm being too optimistic. Maybe I'm being too optimistic. But again, as I said, I am an optimistic guy. I am full of confidence for these next 10 games. Not saying we're going to win every game, because we're not going to win every game. But what I'm going to suggest we see is more building blocks, incremental steps. Rome wasn't built in a day. And I think we'll see a different Evan Ferguson. I think we will. I think this, the lad, footballers thrive on confidence. And, that goal yesterday, it's a good goal. Very good goal. And hopefully we'll see something more out of him. Anyway, keep it on the channel. We'll have some rumours and all that type of stuff. We'll have a little bit of a we'll probably do sort of an amalgamation of the Academy show. Maybe we just do this straight Academy show for Hammers Headlines. Probably do that. There's been a bit of news around the Academy recently. Some players going out on loan, sort of last minute. Levi Lang and people like that. And obviously a number of them played over the weekend, obviously played internationally as well. So we'll go through all them. And until next time, my friends, take care, stay safe, stay warm, have a lovely Monday morning. I'm still in my pajamas, so I'm going to go and change. And yeah, see you soon. Much love. Bye bye.